Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the United Stand. Adam Talks, 4 p.m. Tuesday. Lots to get through. We're bringing you all the up-to-date news on Manchester United's potential takeover. Is it happening? Is it not? Is it Glazers spin, like the title of this video says? I'm here with Ricky. Ricky, how are you going, mate? Have you recovered from what was an epic week in Barcelona last time we spoke, and then a great performance against Leicester at weekend as well?
Yeah, it's been fantastic, mate. Had a great few nights in Barcelona. We had a couple of nights out, didn't we? And got back and a great performance against, well, a great second half performance against Leicester. You know, we could have even been a couple of goals down, but yeah, so far so good. It's been brilliant.
That's it. I mean, we've not really spoke much about the takeover of Manchester United, or potential takeover of Manchester United. Rick, this is the opportunity for you guys as well. Get your comments in the comments section. This is your interactive version. Myself, Mark, we've been talking over it already this week. Let's get your comments on what your concerns are, what you want from this takeover. Are you now thinking, with everything that's going on at the football club, that this might not happen? I talked about it and how scared I was about the Glazers still being in charge, Rick. I mean, after everything that's gone on, everything you've read about, listened to, for Manchester United not to be taken over and the Glazers to stay, what would that say to you? Where would you be with that in terms of your feelings and hope going into the future for this club?
It'd be a terrible blow if nothing was to happen and the Glazers were, were still in control of the club this time next year. It'd be a terrible blow. Why would that happen when they've been so, it's been sort of public knowledge that they are trying to sell or they want to sell. So why would that happen? I don't think the fact that we're playing better football and looking like we might be going places, football-wise, I don't think that would sway them. So what's changed? I don't understand what could have changed.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I spoke about the Glazers looking at what's happening on the pitch this season. Mark's just done a video earlier on at 2 p.m. talking about that. I think Ten Hag's role in this football club now and the way he's got this team playing on the pitch, and then it just looks like a better proposition. It looks like there's a future again for Manchester United, even with the restrictions of the Glazers, because he's not going to get a war chest like he got the summer just gone every single summer with the Glazers. We know that. Can you really honestly say that how good it looks on the pitch, mate, would not sway the Glazers? Can you not see that?
I'm not too sure that they've ever been that too concerned with what goes on the pitch.
It's a good point, mate.
I'm not too sure that they've ever been concerned about that. So
I mean, being in the Champions League,
it's a difficult one, mate. I can't imagine that what's happening right now would sway them. I can't imagine that it would. I could be wrong, but that's my feelings on it.
Season ticket prices going up. It's a bit of a weird. It's a bit of a weird time for the prices to go up with everything that's going on right now. I mean, I know the club are trying to smooth it over by saying this was always projected. The running costs of Manchester United match days now have gone up, so season ticket prices have to go up 5%. Everyone's going to take a bit of a hit. You can see where people would start thinking that's not going to benefit the Glazers if new owners are coming in. So does that make you feel like that's a move the Glazers would make in knowledge that they're actually thinking of financing and staying on?
When you talk about the finances and the value of the club and the money that they're talking about that they're trying to sell it for or would expect to sell it for, a 5% rise in ticket prices is small potatoes, I think. I really do, yeah. I think it's small potatoes in the great scheme of things.
Well, that's it. I mean,
it's not to the average, it's not to the fan, it's not to the average fan, of course, but I'm talking about to the Glazers and the billions of pounds that they're talking about that the club's supposed to be worth. I don't think a 5% rise in ticket prices is going to make them think any different.
No, I reckon that's just something that's been put in by the club itself, because we're talking, we'll get into some of the contract negotiations as well, because there's been a lot of media talking this week regarding players' contracts and negotiations for them contracts still going ahead no matter what happens off the pitch. That was already set in stone. Maybe the season tickets were set in stone. There was always going to be a price hike. And obviously the renewal sort of time of year is coming up. So they've had to put this news out now, no matter what's going on off the pitch. So we usually give the fans a couple of months' chance to actually renew the tickets usually, don't they, before the season ends. So that might have already been scheduled.
I think it probably was. I think it was probably scheduled. And when you're talking about players, contract talks coming up, they're talking about reducing players' wages at the same time, aren't they?
David De Gea, one of them, 100 grand, 125 grand less a week. saving a lot of money. I mean, the structure of the club we're looking at, and I want to talk about the structure, but I feel like I can't until I know what's happening off the pitch and who's going to own the football club. It doesn't feel like there is a structure while the Glazers are in charge. I feel like it opens up avenues and doors to all sorts of possibilities if the Glazers leave. So we'll maybe discuss that when it comes to it. Super chat from Levon says, "Hey lads, I'm in Manchester for the Barca game. Came from Canada. What bar is what bar is good to go before the game? We'll love to grab a pint with you lot." What bar, Rick? What are you saying?
I sometimes have a quick one in hotel football before I go in the game, so I'm sure there's livelier bars around here. The one across the road here, what's it called? The Bishop's Place. You better get there early. The queue up to get in there if you want to go in the Bishop's Place. And I think you've got to show your ticket to get in as well on a match day.
You do, yes. Match day ticket and queue up. I think it's been, we've seen it outside there, about 100 strong trying to get in the place, haven't we?
Big queues, yeah.
Big
line. You probably call them lines in Canada. Big lines to get in.
Yes, that's it. Well, Levon, I hope you have a great game and a great experience at the game tomorrow, on Thursday, and hopefully you bring us some luck as well and we get through that one. We are going to be talking about the Barcelona game. Me and Ricky are going to pick I think we'll do our combined 11 and we'll do our predicted 11 for Manchester United before the show's out, so you guys can get involved in that. A lot of people there replying to 11 saying the Bishop's Place definitely a go-to. I think, general consensus, that is definitely the best place. Bishop's Place, bit of Lou Macari chippy on the way out, proper match day experience. That's it. So just to keep you updated with everything that's going on in terms of the bids and where we're at right now. Today's news mainly broke out by the Telegraph on ESPN. Rob Dawson's been saying a lot, James Ducker of the Telegraph as well. Bidders for Manchester United are now waiting for more details from Rain Group. One source said the ball is very much in the courts of the Glazers and the Rain now. So it seems like the water has been tested, Rick.
Yeah.
We know who the main bidders are. Yeah. And now it's a case for the Glazers to go away with the Rain Group, crunch some numbers, and for them find out ultimately who's paying more, what's better for them, how much money can they get out of in each individual buyer or potential buyer. I think it's all going to come down to the one with the biggest bid when it comes to the Glazers. But from what you've seen so far, Rick, what are you looking at? Who do you see as favourites? What do you think looks the best for a Manchester United fan?
I think most United fans would probably want Jim Ratcliffe, won't they? I have read, and I'm not too clever with the iFinances, and this is proper iFinances. I have read that his bid is going to involve taking on some debt, although apparently that debt's not going to be loaded onto Manchester United.
It'll be his own company.
Be his own company. But I'm still not too sure that if necessary that wouldn't, at some later date, that you know United might have to pay something towards that, or I don't know. It could just happen. So there's going to be some debt involved. Whereas I think the Qatari bid, they've just got basically the cash just to pay for it, haven't they, and just buy it.
Yes,
and that's
yes.
that. So that's one thing. But look, Jim Ratcliffe, supposedly a Man United fan as a young man, is going to be the favourite without a doubt. Then on the other side of the bid, not only is he the favourite because he's been a Manchester United supporter, but then a lot of people are talking about the human rights issues in Qatar. I don't want to get into that. It's too political. I'm just looking at their bid being the stronger bid because it's not dead. It's not debt. There's no debt involved.
There's no leverage.
So I would imagine that would suit the Glazers as well.
There's no leverage finance there. It is all clean bill of health. No debt. Money to spend, a plan for infrastructure, a plan for the women's team, a plan for the under-21s team, the redevelopment of everything that is Manchester United from top to bottom as well. It does look like the best bids when you read it. Obviously there's a lot to go into it, like you said there, and everything like that, but I think the main concern with Manchester United fans now is, and I spoke about this yesterday in the morning show, I've seen Mark talking about it there as well. Gary Neville was talking about it on Sunday after the game, about Manchester United's fear that they were looking to maybe build up a bidding war, the Glazers, to a point where they would then be able to afford to buy out the siblings of the Glazer family that don't want to be part of Manchester United going forward. We may be a case where Avram and Joel are left in charge, or in some capacity at the football club. Manchester United fans have just said it doesn't matter if they've got 5, 10, 1% stake out. gone, finished, clean break. Is that the only way United can compete with what's happening with the rest of the league right now? Newcastle, City, these sorts of models. Is that the only way? Glazers completely gone, clean bill of health?
That's a tricky one, that, Adam. I mean, if they have got, it's not an ideal situation. We won't want them to have any stake in the club whatsoever. But if they have still got, I don't know, they're not going to hold 1%. Say they held 5%. If they held 5%, is that going to restrict the amount of money that we can spend on players or spend on the infrastructure? Let's say it's been sold to the Qataris and there's some agreement made that they can keep 5%. I don't see that that's going to affect the amount of money that the Qataris are willing to spend if they own 95% of the club. So as much as people will want them out, I don't think it'd be a problem deep down, if I'm honest. Apart from the fact that you just don't want them here, I don't think it'd have any effect on the situation.
That's it. Glazer out here says, Vicky is right, the debt associated with Manchester United is a bad thing, and it will be associated with Manchester United, albeit indirectly. It's linked. That's what they say. That's the concern with people. Some not happy that you're saying...
It'd still be a better situation, though, than now. You know,
it's better than what it is, but it's better, like...
Much better.
How long does that stay linked to Manchester United? It's like the uncertainty. And this is where I feel like it seems like, and I spoke about it the other day, the Daily Mail went outside Old Trafford and interviewed people outside before the Leicester game. They seemed to interview long-standing season ticket holders. There wasn't much of a mix of genres or generations of fans. It was like an old guard, and they all went with Sir Jim Radcliffe as well. I mean, there wasn't anyone interviewing a young Manchester United fan. I think the younger generation fan look at their future as football fans of Manchester United and go, well, it's all right for these old people. Start talking, do you know what I mean? I've got a full lifetime stuck with whatever Manchester United is bringing. And I can see why the Qatari bid is the most popular one. It is, I mean, you watched under 21s football, Vic, women's football, Manchester United doing so well. And the way that the Qatari bid is structured on paper is that it's going to prosper every level of football at this football club. And like I said, then football is going to be at the forefront of everything. It just doesn't seem like that on the other bids. It seems like there's leverage and there's issues all over the place. You can see why the younger generation is saying Qatari bid, can't you? You can understand that, where they're looking at it from.
But yeah, you can see that without a doubt. All they want is a successful football club, football club at
is it on
every
the pitch
level.
the most important thing?
It is. I think it is to a lot of people, isn't it? I think it is to a lot of people. Plus, obviously, the infrastructure. Maybe they're talking about a new stadium, aren't they, as well, or maybe redeveloping Old Trafford. I think the team, followed by the infrastructure of the stadium itself. I think they're the two most important things to most people.
That's it. Where you at with the stadium? New one? Redevelop OT? How are you seeing that?
I'd like them to redevelop Old Trafford exactly where it is. I mean, I do believe they own enough land around it that they could build a stadium next door and still play in Old Trafford until they move into the new stadium. And I think, sensibly, that would be sensible, but, it'd be the sensible option. But I'm old school, aren't I? I would still like Old Trafford still to be Old Trafford, and I'd like
tight
them to...
seats,
I'd like
squeezed
them to,
into there.
well, but they could redevelop it, can't they? They could redevelop it. I don't know, one stand at a time or something. But like I say, it does just make sense to, if they've got the land to do it, build a new stadium. I think I've mentioned before on a show I was in Atlanta a few years ago, and they built a new stadium in Atlanta, literally right next door to the stadium. I couldn't believe my eyes when I got there. One stadium was literally about 15 yards from the other stadium. There's a small gap in between the two, and they could just build a stadium, use Old Trafford until the new one's ready, and then just move over.
That's it. Honey Badger there with a comment says, I think Qatar is offering, what Qatar is offering is more attractive. I was one that was wanting Sir Jim, but if the Qataris come and develop the stadium and the grounds and the surrounding area, that's jobs as well. It's a fair point. I mean, that's attractive. I mean, the Abu Dhabi bid, when that came into Manchester City, a big thing about that with Sheikh Mansour was he actually used local local produce, he used local materials, didn't source it from anywhere, gave jobs to people within the area. There is another way of looking at it like that, isn't there? It's it prospers the business side of things around here, job opportunities for people as well. And I think only the Qatari bid could offer that. Only they could really develop the whole area, I would say.
What City's owners, I hate talking about City on here, but what City's owners have done for the club, and I know they're going to get in trouble by the looks of it, but or if they're not in trouble already, what they've done for the club is dwarfed really by what they've done for the area around the stadium. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing what they have done around there, and like you say, the amount of people that must have got work through that, and companies that must have got contracts through that, all the work that they've done around that area. So it is a difficult one to argue against if we were going to get similar sort of thing to happen around Old Trafford.
Yeah. I'm going to read a couple of quotes from the Telegraph. We've got these up on our United Stand Twitter feed as well, people. So if you want to get some more detail on it, just flick across there. There is still said to be some uncertainty over whether the Glazers will cash in on Manchester United amid apparent splits in opinion among the 6 siblings involved. That was from James Ducker of the Telegraph again. Another one from him says sources are insistent that Jazim would not be pursuing Manchester United if he was not 100% convinced any takeover would comply with regulations designed to protect football from the integrity risk of owners controlling or influencing multiple clubs. The multiple club aspect of it, basically the ownership model at Paris Saint-Germain has got nothing to do with this. People would say it is a state fund, but his role and his place within the royal family in Qatar is supposed to be well out of the inner circle as such. It is a personal wealth, that's what they're saying. Some journalists have seen on there disputing that it's still state money if he's involved in the royal family. Controversy all over it. There is going to be a lot of negotiating, a lot of things have to be sorted out before any bid comes in, but I would say it's like, I don't think Sir Jim Radcliffe's squeaky clean. I don't think anyone coming in from Manchester, the Glazers we know are not squeaky clean. Yeah. No one is going to be. There's always going to be someone upset with one particular bid, and you're always going to have parties that are not happy with what's happening. It's just the way it's going to be. Everyone will vote for who they want to vote for. Yeah. Ultimately, I think there comes a time, Rick, where you have to just draw a line down and go, as a football fan, a way of life that we have to look at it from a football side of things. And the best future for Manchester United is whoever puts forward the best plan for footballing matters and this club moving forward and being successful.
Without a doubt, and obviously it's going to be, there's going to be files this deep to go through, bigger perhaps. So whichever bid suits is the best bid for the club. If they do it that way, which one's best for the club rather than for the Glazers would be great. But whether that'll happen, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just going to read another one here. Sheikh Jazim bin Hamad Al Thani is confident his proposed buyout of Manchester United would not fall foul of rules banning ownership or control over more than one club. Like I just said there, that's another one that's just dropped down from James Ducker. In terms of what's happening right now, if the Glazers do sell, if they don't sell, plans for the summer for Manchester United. ESPN's Rob Dawson has been talking about that. Sources say that although commercial broadcast and matchday revenue streams have remained strong, dropping out of the Champions League and lack of significant player departures has meant MUFC are keeping a close eye on financial fair play compliance. Hint, 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 could not be a big spending summer. Even if a new ownership model comes in, Rick, you still have to meet financial fair play rules. Yeah. You just said it yourself, Manchester City, prime example of what can go wrong. The bottomless pit of money doesn't win you everything, isn't the answer for everything. Manchester United's lack of structure and being able to make money through player sales, the contract negotiation side of things that's costing the club a fortune, has actually caught up with us finally. Probably another reason why the Glazers are looking out, because they can't get any more money. But we are going to have to watch what we spend in the summer as well, according to ESPN.
Yeah, well, as it happens, you're talking to the wrong person about that, because I think you've spoken to me numerous times about...
If we have got a lack of funds and we could only maybe invest in one particular area of the pitch, where are we going from what we've seen this season, Rick? Where is that little tweak that is going to take us top of the league coming from in the summer? Where would you prioritise if we are only going to be able to spend minimal amount?
We obviously need a new striker, don't we? I don't think Martial's ever going to get fit, and even if he does, if Martial was fully
he
fit,
isn't fit for Barca, by the way, people. He's not.
If Martial was fit and firing, I mean, the manager loves him. Make no mistake, I love him. The manager loves him. If he was fit and firing on all cylinders, we still need another striker. You need even if he didn't have a bad injury record, you still need another striker. It's not enough. And Weghorst has come in. Whether they might keep Weghorst, I don't know. But even if they do, if they've got Weghorst and Martial, they need at least one more. At least one more.
That's it. I mean, there's reports that Manchester United are tracking Osimhen from Napoli. You watch a lot of Italian football, Rick. You're a big fan of Serie A. Osimhen, have you been impressed? I mean, you can't not be impressed with what Napoli have done this season. My God, wow. What a performance it's been from them this season. But Osimhen, he has been that leading striker for them, even when injured, comes straight back, gets a goal straight away, carries on where he left off. Is he the type of striker that you would take? It was Jason Burt from the Telegraph's reporting Manchester United are tracking Osimhen.
Yeah, like I say, he's definitely the striker. He's a good striker, without a doubt. He'd be a good signing.
What moulds he in? Who would you sort of say he's similar to from yesteryear? What type of striker is he?
What's it really like?
Off the front, off the wing, main number 9?
Main number 9, I'd say, yeah.
Definitely.
9, yeah.
Pacey, strong, quick.
Yeah.
Are we looking Andy Cole sort of mould
Yeah,
type
probably,
of striker?
Yeah, probably.
Is that what would you say?
Yeah. A little bit. Andy Cole was a snatcher of goals in the box as well, wasn't he? Though?
Instinctive.
But instinctive finisher, yeah.
There was a bit of a debate outside Old Trafford with a few United fans. I think Noureddin was kicking off a little bit. Well, not kicking off, but Noureddin, you know what he's like? He's loud. He's loud and proud. And he was arguing the point for Harry Kane, if it came to it. Would you bring a Harry Kane into Manchester United if you had the chance?
I'd love to get Harry Kane, but how much money would it cost to get Harry Kane?
Exactly. That's the whole argument against.
Harry Kane can do everything. He's an absolutely top player. You know, I occasionally hear people criticising him, but his hold-up play is fantastic. His finishing's fantastic. He's a scorer of great goals as well as being a great goal scorer. It's two different things. He's just a top player, Harry Kane. But I think it's a pipe dream, really, thinking that we could get him. I was about to say before that I'm a big fan of a manager, and I'm a big fan of our manager, by the way. And I like the way he's getting players for nothing and getting a tune out of them. I think Weghorst is playing well. I think Sabitzer's a good signing. They're both only loan signings. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if you got either a cheap player who we can't even think of in the summer, or even another player on loan for the season. I love a manager who can do that and operate like that. I'm not a fan who's always hoping that we're going to spend 80 million on this player or 100 million on that player. It never crossed my mind, for example, that he might go and sign Weghorst on loan. But I'm absolutely over the moon that Weghorst is playing for us, and I think he's playing really well, especially when his drops a little bit deeper. I bumped into Ryan Giggs earlier in Hale, by the way. I meant to tell you when I walked in. And my first question to him, what do you think of Weghorst? I said to him, and he said to me, since he dropped back, I like him. You know what I mean? So there you go.
That's it. I mean, that comes into the conversation about the manager again, though, Rick, doesn't it? And like how he's adapting players. I we'll get into our combined 11s and our pick for Manchester United 11 shortly, but you got to look at it and you got to go. Weghorst coming into Manchester. Weghorst has got more minutes than Martial.
Yeah,
he's been
already.
Been in the club a month, pretty much, and he's already got more minutes than Martial. That is concerning, to say that is very concerning for Martial. When I seen that stat, I was like, whoa, my God, that is a bad season. That's a worry, especially with 3 years left on his contract.
I'm just praying that they're working on getting him absolutely, completely fit, so there's no, you know, they feel as though there's no chance whatsoever of him breaking down again. When he played in the derby, the manager admitted that they knew he wasn't fully fit. But he wanted him and felt that he needed him to play in the derby. And has he played since then? I don't think
Forest.
He has. Did he play? Has that
scored
since
against Forest, didn't he? I think in the second leg. That was his last game.
Right. So, but anyway, he's obviously obviously keeps breaking down. We need him to get fully fit and firing on all cylinders. But like I said, even if we do, we haven't got enough strikers. We need another one.
That's it. I mean, you look at it, and it's like Rob Dawson says in there, even with a Qatari bid coming in for Manchester United and all that money coming in, United are going to be restricted and very sensible in the January transfer window. I think, guys, it is quite clear from the chat as well. Let me know what you think, just for 100%. But are we going with striker? Is it an out-and-out number 9 that Manchester United need? Do we need that extra cover in midfield? Or actually, I'm going to put this one to you, Rick. I mean, Marcel Sabitzer, we just picked him up there. If that opportunity came around and reported 25 million, I don't even know why I'm asking you this, because you're going to say yes. Would you take Sabitzer at 25 on a permanent in the summer?
Yeah, without a doubt.
I knew you were going to say that. It's that you just described that type of signing.
Exactly. But by our standards, that's not a lot of money, is it?
No.
So, let's get him, and what would you have to give for Vegas? 12 million. Get them two both nailed down, and that's the start. Look how we're doing now. We're doing great, and we're still with a couple. I mean, Casemiro's just been missing. But,
he's back now.
Everyone speaks about how will we do without Varane, how will we do without Casemiro. They've both missed the last few games. We've kept 2 clean sheets against Leeds and who've just played, Leeds and Leicester. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a squad here that's developing, and it's looking really good. And as you can probably tell, I'm getting excited
I can see it, right? I can see it.
We've got a squad here that's developing, and the manager's doing a great job. And I love these little signings that cost you nothing, and they come in and do a job for you. And I wouldn't mind us getting another one of them, as a backup striker if we had Martial fit. But obviously that might be a bit of a long shot.
Oh, can you imagine with the amount of money that Glazers spent, if we actually had someone upstairs who had the nous and knowledge of how to actually run a football club, and maybe we had Ten Hag 5 years ago, or someone like Ten Hag who knows how to find a bit of talent, would we even be in this conversation right now? We might have been a lot more successful. But the way that this football club has been run, I think it's probably even the only thing more criminal than the actual Glazers is who they employed to run the club. I think that was even worse than what they've done. But we are past that. We've luckily got things right on the pitch. Off the pitch, well, that's going to be a saga. Apparently, according to reports, it's just going to go on till a deadline that they're hoping to set, which is the summer, on the end of the season. I'd be a bit concerned going into a summer, especially on tour, with transfer targets and everything that we need to support Ten Hag, and everything's not sorted off the pitch. I'd be a bit worried about that. I wouldn't like to see that. I'd like to have everything done and dusted before the end of the season, if possible. It would be a great end to the season to celebrate picking up a trophy, finishing back in the Champions League and saying bye to the Glazers. That's just like...
Imagine.
That's a Heineken, that. It's a Carlsberg. Sorry, Carlsberg. Got that one wrong completely. That's a Carlsberg season moment. Right there, isn't it? But yeah, we do have to look ahead, Rick. You mentioned players that are available to us now. So let's go into it. I mean, Casemiro's back, Sabitzer's back off suspension from the Champions League. We've got an array of talent to pick in defence right now because Malassi was rested, Varane was rested. Luke Shaw played at left back again. I was going to say Luke Shaw was rested then, but Luke Shaw is pivotal at the moment.
He got a little bit of a rest, didn't he? Took him off with.
Let's start at the back. Obviously, David De Gea starts in goal for Manchester United. Let's pick our back four because we've got options open to us now. Martinez is back as well. What are you going with back four, Rick?
I'll let you pick the right back.
You know what? I said it to Beth before. I said it to Beth before. Dalot impressed me against Leicester. I was happy that he came back and looked like he took his chance, basically. He was given a chance and he's told Ten Hag, I'm ready to go again. He was a bit rusty at time, but I can see the form that he was in earlier on in the season is there, and it was there at Leicester. There was them shaky moments, I thought he played very, very well. I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka still, mate.
Yeah, don't blame you. I really don't blame you. I'd probably just about go with Dalot. I think there's a little bit more going forward in him. We do need to score at the end of the day in this game, don't we? We don't really want it going to pens, and I think a defender that might just give you that extra bit in attack. Especially, I'm not by saying he's got that extra bit in attack. I'm not decrying his defensive capabilities either. He just played really well the other day, and I think he's a little bit better going forward. I'd probably go with Dalot, but I really wouldn't blame anybody if you want to say Wan-Bissaka. I wouldn't. He's been playing great.
A clear sign of what you said just a minute ago about players coming in. and developing under Ten Hag, because I've ripped Wan-Bissaka off, mate. I'm going to hold my hands up and say the man turned me around. I thought he was finished, or he's impressed me immensely. Dalot for sure, says James. Get your comments in. Rick, you're a legend. We love you, says Tom Riddle.
Thank you, Tom.
Dalot missed a sitter at weekend. He did, but
he did, but he's developed
a
move himself.
What a great move that was between him and Bruno.
Yeah, and Weghorst. He played it to Dalot and he played it to Bruno and got on the end of it.
Good move, good interchange.
He didn't finish it. You see, that's typical. That who just said that he missed a sitter. He did miss a sitter, but people talk about if he scores that goal, there'll be people saying he needs to play. Yep. It's not about having scored a goal. It's a single moment in the game. It's a single moment.
I remember Zaka is the GOAT. Glazers out, Qatari's in. I'm seeing loads of comments. Only Qatar can save United in the hand from the hand of the Glazer. Yeah, I can see where they're going. Dalot for sure. Let's get onto the team anyway. I trust Dalot. Right. Centre backs, Rick. This is tough. Tough. I'm going to go straight away and make an easy call by saying Varane. Slot straight back in.
I'll go with Varane, and as I've just spoken about the two right backs, I'm not going to say that it's a tough ask, but if Lindelof didn't let the side down, if Varane was injured or suspended on Thursday night, I wouldn't have any concerns whatsoever. This is how we're building a squad now with good players in, a couple of good players in almost every position. So I wouldn't have any problems whatsoever if it had to be Lindelof. But yes, I would bring Varane back in.
Martinez or Shaw?
That's a real tough one because we've just played them away and I thought Shaw had an absolute blinder against them, and I think the manager might be thinking this. They've got Lewandowski up top. He played Shaw here against Haaland, didn't he? I've got a feeling the manager might go Shaw and Malacia.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he might go Shaw and Malacia.
He likes Malacia's energy now.
Yeah.
And Malacia had a very good game against Barcelona, I thought.
Will he just pick this game? Will he just pick this team without any thought for Sunday's game as well? Or will he even think that's my best team and play him on Thursday and on Sunday? How's he going to go about that?
I was asked that very question, Rick, the other day. I was on Sky and they asked me what's more important to a Manchester United fan, picking up that trophy or getting past Barcelona on Thursday. I could only answer it in a way where I'd echo what Eric Ten Hag said, and we take it game by game. We can't think about Sunday. What's in front of you is more important. I think he's going to go strong. I would play Shaw. I would play Shaw at left back. Because I like Luke Shaw going forward. I think he offers us more.
And we do need to score.
If we do need to score, Shaw's better at left back. That's how I would judge it, and I would bring Martinez in.
Go on, I'll go with that. So we've got Dalot, Varane, Martinez and Shaw.
Yes. Midfield 3. Now it gets interesting. Fred has come in for some plaudits recently, rightly so. There are them tendencies of Fred to still play like Fred. Scott McTominay's back in the reckoning. Sabitzer, Casemiro, both available. We'll start with the defensive one in front of the back four. For me, it's a no-brainer, Casemiro.
Yeah, I'll go Casemiro,
Then it's the other two. Bruno Fernandes. This is where it's going to get interesting. I'm going to mix some up with you here in a minute. I'm putting Bruno Fernandes in at 10 to start, and I'm having Sabitzer next to him, or just in between. I think Sabitzer's better going forward, I think, than what Fred would be. I think he's better on the ball. I think he passes it better. And I think he's starting to read and catch up to speed with the Premier League pace. I know this is Barcelona Europa League, but I think Sabitzer's really adapting quickly. I would love him, and I'd love to see him alongside Casemiro. That would be my midfield 3.
So what have you done? You've gone Bruno, Casemiro and Sabitzer?
Yes, that's what my 3 would be.
I'd definitely go Casemiro and Sabitzer. It's 2 1/3 games now, if you count about a third of the game at Leeds, or a quarter, 2 1/4 games where Bruno's played on the right wing. So I'm talking about what I think the manager might do. Weghorst has been playing at 10, although at Old Trafford against them he might want him to play at 9. But also Sancho, I was surprised on Sunday when Sancho came in and played in like a number 10 role and Bruno still stayed on the wing.
This is where it gets interesting.
He's played, I know we're playing Barcelona, but have I got this right? Yeah, he played away against Barcelona and in that position.
Did,
so there's no reason for him to change that. So are we picking a team of what we do or what the manager would do here?
At Barcelona, you know what I mean? Barcelona went Rashford 9, Weghorst 10, Sancho left.
Correct.
And then Bruno right. So what I was going to do, and I played Bruno there, I would play Sancho on the right. Bruno at 10, Rashford left, Weghorst at 9, interchanging Weghorst, Bruno and Sancho.
Yeah.
Bruno can go right, Sancho inverted 10, Weghorst dropped back, Bruno false. I think them three, and then Rashford just loitering around the left. I think he can interchange that in-game without making substitutes and affect Barcelona.
So without actually picking definitive positions, you'd pick those 4 players.
That would be my 4, because I think all 4 of them can play.
Go against that,
Except Rashford in 10, no goal for me. Rashford across the whole front 3, but I reckon Sancho, Weghorst and Bruno can play.
On either flank or at 10.
Or at false 9, because
Sancho... Sorry, not Weghorst on the flank, Weghorst at 9 or 10.
Weghorst got his 2 positions. I thought he played better as a 9 against Leicester, but better as a 10 against Barcelona. It's weird how it works. I think in the end against Leicester, we were just trying to give him the ball to give him a goal. I think that's where we got to with Weghorst. But without my input there, where would you go? Would you start Bruno on the right? Look where his assists came from at weekends, both from the right.
Yeah, he played on the right. He got 2 assists. I loved Sancho's performance in the number 10 role when he came on. The way he moves the ball around, it's an absolute joy to watch. And if you look at that goal, and I know Bruno gets the assist, which is great, but Sancho not only scores it, but as they call it these days, he also gets the pre-assist. You know what I mean?
Do you reckon also he made it easy for Bruno to make that assist?
Yeah, but it's nearly all down to Sancho, that goal. I mean, great, look, it's an assist for Bruno, of course it is, but it's nearly all down to Sancho. He's the man who takes the ball into the box and then gives it to Bruno at the right moment. Look, everybody knows that I'm not Bruno's biggest fan, but I've seen Bruno in the same position, over it, the little pass. I've also seen him take a shot on from a similar position when you should be passing it. Sancho just seems to get it right, I think. You know, look, I can't say he gets it right most of the time. I've seen him play there for 1/2 of a game. But in that 1/2 of a game, to me, he looks absolutely fantastic.
I throw my hands up because I was one. I'm not afraid of saying I was wrong. I need more proof, obviously, but I didn't see Sancho as a 10. I didn't think he would get the chance, but Ten Hag has moved Bruno out. And
I think that's what he'll do, and I wouldn't disagree with it. You've just asked me what would I do. After that one, look, if you think about it, Weghorst only played as a 10 for about 25 minutes at Leeds, and then started in Barcelona. So Sancho's just had half a game against Leicester. Why can't he start in that role against Barcelona? So maybe we do that. Maybe we have Bruno on the right. That's what I'd go with. Bruno on the right, Weghorst at 9, Sancho at 10, and Rashford on the left. That's mine.
Guys, let us know in the comment section as well. Are you agreeing with mine and Ricky's team? We've got our team, so we're going to go through it now. I'll go through it and then we'll change it up a little bit. So De Gea in goal, the back 4 of Luke Shaw, Varane, Martinez and Wan-Bissaka. Midfield 3 of Sabitzer, Casemiro, Bruno. We talked about the changes there in terms of the front 4. Sancho, Rashford, Weghorst. That's our team. We're going to have a bit of fun with the Barcelona team. Are we going to slot any Barcelona players into any of these positions? Starting with the goalkeeper, Rick. This is just for fun, by the way. Don't take this
into our team, you mean?
Combined 11. Mix Barcelona and Manchester United. Who would make Manchester United's team better?
I'm not red hot on all of Barcelona's players, but obviously...
Goalkeeper Ter Stegen over De Gea. What would you do? Honestly, I wasn't impressed with Ter Stegen in the first leg. I thought De Gea was the better keeper on the night. And I thought De Gea had a good game against Leicester. Everyone knows my opinion on De Gea, but when he's performing the way he is, you can't go against the eye test, basically. If he's playing well, you keep him. De Gea stays.
Yeah, for me.
I wouldn't change any of the back 4 for Barcelona's.
No, I like Alonso. I like him at left back, but we've got Luke Shaw and Malacia, so it's difficult. There's not much chance, is there? There's one player in Barcelona's team who I would have in my team. Mind you, he said that. We've got Casemiro now. I was going to say Busquets. I'm a massive fan of Busquets.
Where he is in his career now.
Yeah, but we're talking about, this is a bit of fun, isn't it? And
he has been one of the world's best.
We're naming a team here that we would have maybe for one game, if we were playing one game tomorrow. That's the way I look at it, rather than thinking about
your cup final team.
A cup final team. And Busquets would have a great chance of getting in, even over Casemiro. He's that good, Busquets. But he's injured. Is he missing? Is he missing? Is Busquets missing?
He could be back. I think he's back. Actually, he is back. I just want to do a quick poll. Actually, prime Casemiro or prime Busquets? let's not forget the importance of Casemiro to that Real Madrid team, but Busquets in his prime.
Busquets has won it all as well.
Let me know.
Two great
He
players.
has. Let me know, people. I'm just going to put a quick poll up in the chat. Prime Casemiro or Prime Busquets? Who's better? Right, okay, this gets interesting. We're throwing Frankie de Jong into the mix now, Rick. Now, that changes things up, I think, because you could easily replace Sabitzer with Frankie, I would say. Because he does sit a bit deeper. I wouldn't play Frankie de Jong as the out-and-out 10. I think in Sabitzer's role as an 8, I would think Frankie more.
I'd go Casemiro and de Jong.
Cool. Yes, I'm liking this team. Wowza.
Obviously, we've got Eriksen missing, who would often be in that role.
Has Pedri come into the reckoning for you? I wasn't impressed with him even before he went off injured. He's the shining light for Spanish football. Barcelona's new wonder kid. I thought he got found out by Germany in the World Cup, though, to be honest. He was having a stormer until the Germans came in and nullified him. I would still take Bruno over Pedri right now. That's what I would say.
Bruno's not getting in our team as a number 10 at the minute.
No, but we're talking about the actual. This can be mixed up, and a free-flowing side can be. I wouldn't pick him over Bruno right now. I wouldn't. And that's not me being biased. I just feel like Bruno's in a better place, better form. And let's be honest, Pedri's injured, so let's just be realistic with it.
Go with that then. So we've got Casemiro and de Jong.
This is even going to test your love, Rick,
Rafinha's
this next
a tough one.
Sancho, Rafinha.
Sancho's just come back. He's not playing on the wing, is he? Rafinha's playing on the wing, and I've just said I'd have Sancho in my team as a 10. Going back to what you've just said, you have Bruno there. It's unfair because Sancho's had one half there. If I'd seen Sancho play 10 games in a row and play as well as he played on Sunday, I would nailed on sit here now and say Sancho at number 10. Really would. But whether he's going to play like that again, whether he's going to play as well as that on a regular basis, we don't know. But he was fantastic on Sunday in that role. So we'll stick with Bruno because Sancho's only done it for 45 minutes. On the right-hand side,
Rafinha.
I would probably go Rafinha, I think.
All right, I'll stick with Rashford. I think that's a no-brainer on the left.
Yeah, at the minute, even I'll go with that,
This is going to test you, Rick. Weghorst or Lewandowski?
Look,
come on,
the sensible money's got to go Lewandowski. It has got to go Lewandowski, but I am a big fan of Weghorst, and he'd be unlucky. He'd be unlucky to be left out the way he's playing. He'd even have a chance of getting number 10 role. Getting back to that, by the way, it will be double interesting on Thursday night if Bruno again plays on the right.
It will.
Because if he plays on the right again, number 10 position in your team is a really important position. It'll be more than... I know big Bruno fans will say, well, he's not dropping him, he's putting him on the wing. Well, that's fine, he is putting him on the wing. But really, he wants to play as a number 10 where he can get in the box, he can score goals. That's his forte, really, isn't it? What he's always been known for.
Can you see?
And he's not playing as a number 10 at the minute. If he doesn't play at number 10 again on Thursday, you've got to start thinking, well, hang on. If he's not playing him as a 10, and he's got the option to play him as 10, we've got other players that can play on the wing. I mean, Anthony is the manager's signing. When Anthony's fully fit again, will Bruno get his place back at number 10?
This is the thing. Are we finally seeing a little bit of Ten Hag ball from Ajax? Because the fullbacks were crucial in his starting lineup at Ajax. Bruno being on the right, tucking in, dominating the midfield, the central midfield more, winning the ball back high energy, and then the fullbacks play a key role coming in, and that's when your crosses and everything comes in there. But then you literally mentioned one name which threw that argument out for me, because I think when Anthony's fit, he plays with Ten Hag.
He tends to play him, doesn't he?
And I'm like, which way are we going then?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
look, he'll probably... he might not put him back in because Bruno is doing all right there. But so if Anthony's not fit on Thursday, it'll be interesting to see if Bruno goes back in at number 10. If he's not playing number 10 on Thursday, that'll be over 3 games where he's not played at 10. You've got to start to think to yourself that he's going to play on the right a lot. If that's what happens, then we've got a cup final Sunday, by the way. Let's see what happens then. But if Anthony's fit, he will probably put Bruno back to number 10, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say, but only probably. I wouldn't put a lot of money on it.
Ricky has a point with Bruno, but Ten Hag never drops Bruno. In fact, He is the only player to play literally every game. To back up what Billy Smith just said there on the Super Chat, cheers for that, Billy. Bruno has played more minutes than any other player in Manchester United.
I get that, but he's not playing in his position.
No, he's finding roles for everyone, to be honest. I mean, you look at, I didn't see Luke Shaw as a centre-back.
No, I didn't.
I didn't see that, and he brought that. I didn't see Bruno on the right. I didn't see Sancho at 10.
Your number 10, for me, is a far more important position than your right winger. So it's a different scenario, this. He's getting moved out of a really... Look, every player's important, of course they are. But your number 10's a more important role in your team than either of your wing positions. Now, in the defensive case of Shaw, your centre-back is one of your most important. He's probably, in the outfield players, your centre-backs are the most important players on the field. Bar none, make no mistake about it. There's no argument. That's where you start. Get your 2 centre-backs right, you've got a chance. Build from there. Now, Luke Shaw is getting moved from left-back occasionally to play in a more important position. Bruno's getting moved from number 10 to play in a less important position. So there's a subtle difference, but there is a difference.
Where and how important each manager looks at each position, you could say, because I don't see Bruno sticking out to the right. I never see him there. He's always in field.
Yeah, he does come in. Yeah, he plays in the. He plays it differently to other right wingers, but
yes.
Numerically, that's still the position that he's starting in.
Okay, so before we finish up, this is mine and Ricky's combined United Barcelona 11. The back 5 is all United: De Gea, Martinez, Varane, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka. Midfield, we're going with Casemiro, Frenkie de Jong, Bruno Fernandes. We're then having Rafinha on the right. We're having Rashford on the left. We've got Lewandowski up front. I think that's all of it.
That was it. That's what we said, yeah.
That's our combined 11. Let us know what you think. If you're watching the video later, when it goes up on YouTube, let me know what your combined Barcelona 11 is. What's your predicted Manchester United starting 11? Obviously, 2 days now before the big one, Barcelona at Old Trafford. That wraps up the video. Rick, cheers for coming on, talking everything.
Thank you, mate.
And guys, like, share and subscribe to the United Stand. Hit that bell notification for all the new content coming up. You will get it firsthand. And there is plenty of it. Let's just say that. It's going to be a mental week. Do stay tuned for the end of the week as well, around Friday, Saturday for United Stand special before the Cup final as well. So, yep, that is coming as well. Guys, that's it for now though. Have a good rest of your day and enjoy Champions League football. That's all I've got left to say. Cheers, everybody.